What happened to Azir? What is wrong with the Azir mains? And why are we obsessed with yellow? I'll explain all of it soon enough, but first let's talk about Freak. Evil, 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 evil! He wants us to have a 38% win rate at the highest level of solo queue. And if this keeps up, Shreem is gonna fall. Again. But I wanted to talk about the Schizo Azir arc. Really, he doesn't seem to be in a good spot, having only a 44% win rate across all ranks. They've reduced his health growth, so every level he gains 11 less HP. Now he's losing almost 200 HP at max level, and this might be to keep him out of top lane. But I also believe that Riot is trying to shift the meta from Azir being this late game hyper carry to having a very powerful window in mid game to close out the game before the ADCs and marksmen take over the game. But let's see what happened last year to put him in this spot. So it started off by reducing the attack speed growth, further pushing his late game scaling back a little bit, and they also reduced his base movement speed by 5, which is to kind of cut down on his early game trading patterns. We're going to skip over the bug fixes unless it's important. And then in the next patch, they increased his WAP ratio by 5% and increased his base health by 25. So he saw a significant buff here. And in the next patch, they dealt with a lot of bug fixes. They fixed on hits, so Bramble Vest and Steel Caps all work properly. But this also caused Conqueror to, instead of granting 2 stacks for an ability, it only granted 1 because the soldier counted as an auto attack. But moving on, we saw that his attack speed growth was reduced again from 5.5 to 5%, dropping him down this patch in a whole 1% attack speed growth, which it doesn't seem like a lot. 17 attack speed doesn't seem like a lot, but that's what Alacrity gives. And when they reduce his attack speed growth, they also reduced his AP ratio back down to 60% because that 5% buff was way too strong. Then they made some more changes to his W. They increased the cooldown of your soldier charge by 2 seconds at the early levels. And then the AP ratio was changed from 60% to 70, giving him 10% more AP, but this was hot fixed within a couple days. They also changed the AoE piercing damage of his soldiers from different points depending on what level he is to a gradual build up over time. This made him do significantly less damage to the secondary target, but it also made it easier to farm under tower and do certain other things, even if his wave clear early is weaker. And then his E, Shifting Sands, the base damage was increased and the AP ratio was increased, making it a stronger ability to use, even if it was already his strongest single-hitting ability. And then after that, that's the hotfix I'm talking about, where they reduced the 70% AP to 62.5%, because 65% was already too strong, and I don't know why they tried 70. Although it's unfortunate because when they did this, I wasn't able to play. Later on, they fixed the bug with Conqueror, making his W apply 2 stacks of Conqueror. And now we get to the current patch where they reduced his health growth. Overall, he went from having the highest attack speed growth in the game and a decent late game to being substantially weaker when it comes to certain battles. Now obviously, being a specialist, he's able to make up for these just by his character design, but being squishier and having less attack speed and damage really hits him in the late game, regardless of how overpowered he is after laning phase. And so now that Azir has a noticeably negative win rate, the mains have decided to band together and protest against Riot. Freak specifically, only him. Everybody else is fair game, I guess. But Freak himself is the #1 enemy of the Azir community right now. And so in response, they've been building Yellow Azir with Conqueror, Kraken Slayer, i.e. Trinity Force, and Yuntals. Obviously Berserker's Greaves, Flash, and Barrier. You gotta have as much yellow in your kit as possible. But that's not all. Soon we're gonna be migrating from the mid lane to the jungle. And when his win rate hits the lowest any champion has ever hit or will ever hit, Riot is gonna have to do something. I don't know what, but they're gonna try. So what do you think Riot's answer is gonna be? Delete him from the game entirely? We pull something like this and they just delete him from the game? Update. It seems that Riot might remove us from the game if we try this. But with that being said, our win rate is dropping one way or another. But since I can't create a lobby right now, I guess I'll have to put this off for another day.